I'm Maya, 28, and I'm standing in my living room staring at a $5 drugstore candle wrapped in yesterday's newspaper. My mother-in-law, Patricia, just handed it to me with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Around me, 30 guests hold their breath, waiting for my reaction. My husband Daniel shifts uncomfortably beside his mother, clearly embarrassed but saying nothing. This is my birthday party, the first one Daniel insisted we throw since our wedding 2 years ago. Patricia volunteered to bring my gift. She said she had something special planned. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. The candle smells like artificial vanilla and broken promises. Meanwhile, Patricia's wrist sparkles with the diamond bracelet Daniel and I gave her last Christmas. The one that cost $3,000. The one she said was too simple for her taste but kept anyway. I smile sweetly and thank her, but inside, something cold and calculating is taking shape. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe button if you've ever been disrespected by in-laws. You'll definitely want to stick around for what happened next. The party continues, but I can barely focus on my guests. My best friend Rachel corners me in the kitchen, her face flushed with anger. She saw everything. She always sees everything. Maya, that was deliberately cruel, she whispers urgently, loading dirty plates into the dishwasher. Everyone brought thoughtful gifts. Tom and Lisa got you that cookbook you wanted. My parents gave you the spa day package. Even Daniel's colleagues brought wine and flowers. Rachel's right. The gift table looks like a shrine to people who actually care about me. Then there's Patricia's newspaper-wrapped candle, sitting there like a middle finger disguised as a present. But here's what Rachel doesn't know, what nobody knows yet. 3 weeks ago, I overheard Patricia on the phone with her sister. She was laughing about how she was going to humiliate me at my own birthday party. How Daniel's first wife, the precious Angela, would never have demanded such attention. How some people need to be reminded of their place in the family. I wasn't supposed to hear that conversation. But I did. And I've been planning ever since. Daniel finds me later, after most guests have left. His face is apologetic, but there's also defensiveness in his eyes. That look he gets when he's about to excuse his mother's behavior. Maya, I'm sorry about the gift, he starts, running his hand through his dark hair. Mom's been stressed lately. Financial troubles, I think. She probably just forgot to shop earlier. I stare at my husband, this man I love, watching him twist himself into knots to protect his mother. Financial troubles? She just returned from a 2-week European cruise. She drives a BMW that's newer than our car. She wears designer clothes and gets her hair done at the most expensive salon in the city. But I don't say any of this. Not yet. Instead, I smile and nod, playing the understanding daughter-in-law. It's fine, I lie smoothly. It's the thought that counts, right? Daniel looks relieved, grateful that I'm not making this into a bigger issue. He kisses my forehead and goes to help clean up. He has no idea what's coming. Neither does Patricia. That night, I can't sleep. I lie awake thinking about the past 2 years, about all the small cruelties I've endured from Patricia. The backhanded compliments about my cooking, my clothes, my career. The constant comparisons to Angela, Daniel's ex-wife who apparently walked on water and never made mistakes. The way Patricia rearranges my kitchen every time she visits, as if my organizational system is somehow offensive to her. The comments about when Daniel and I will have children, always phrased as concern but delivered as criticism. I've stayed quiet through all of it. I've smiled and nodded and played the role of the grateful woman who married into a good family. But the candle, that cheap drugstore candle wrapped in newspaper, that was different. That wasn't just rude. It was a public declaration of war. And if Patricia wants war, I'll give her one. But I'll do it my way. Quietly. Strategically. With the kind of precision that comes from 2 years of swallowed anger finally finding its target. I reach for my phone and start making notes. The next morning, I call Patricia. My voice is sweet, almost sickeningly so. Patricia, I say warmly, I wanted to thank you again for coming to my party yesterday. And for the lovely candle. There's a pause on the other end. She wasn't expecting this. Well, dear, I'm glad you liked it, she says carefully. I could hear the confusion in her voice. She was expecting confrontation, maybe tears. Not gratitude. Actually, I say, maintaining my cheerful tone, your birthday is coming up next month, isn't it? I'd love to host a party for you. Nothing too big, just family and close friends. Another pause, longer this time. That's very thoughtful, Maya, but you don't need to go to any trouble. No trouble at all, I insist. You've done so much for Daniel and me. It's the least I can do. After some back and forth, she agrees. I can hear the suspicion in her voice, but also the vanity. Patricia loves being the center of attention. She can't resist a party in her honor, even one thrown by the daughter-in-law she clearly despises. Perfect, I say. I'll handle everything. You just show up and enjoy yourself. I spend the next week planning Patricia's birthday party with the same attention to detail I'd give to a military operation. I book the country club she loves, the one she's always bragging about. I hire the caterer she used for her own anniversary party last year. I order flowers from her favorite florist. Everything is expensive, elegant, exactly the kind of party Patricia would throw for herself. Daniel is thrilled. He keeps telling me how much this means to him, how happy he is that his wife and mother are finally bonding. The guilt in his eyes for my birthday has faded, replaced by relief and pride. Rachel, however, is suspicious. What are you planning? She asks over coffee. I know that look. I've seen it before. I play innocent, but Rachel isn't buying it. Just throwing a nice party for my mother-in-law, I say. Isn't that what good daughters-in-law do? Rachel narrows her eyes. Maya, whatever you're planning, be careful. Patricia has connections. She could make things difficult for you and Daniel. I smile. I'm just being kind, Rachel. What could possibly go wrong? The invitations go out 2 weeks before Patricia's birthday. Elegant cream cardstock with gold lettering. Very sophisticated, very Patricia. I invite everyone important to her. Her book club friends. Her tennis partners. Her sister Margaret. The women from her church committee. Daniel's colleagues who she's always trying to impress. Even Angela, Daniel's ex-wife. That last one surprises Daniel. Are you sure? He asks nervously. Mom and Angela stayed close after the divorce. But won't it be weird? I shrug casually. Your mother values her relationship with Angela. I'm not going to let my insecurities get in the way of that. Besides, this party is for her, not me. Daniel looks at me like I've just sprouted wings. He pulls me into a hug, telling me how mature I am, how lucky he is to have married someone so understanding. If only he knew. Angela confirms she'll attend. Of course, she writes back. Patricia is like a mother to me. I wouldn't miss it. Perfect, I think. Everything is falling into place exactly as I planned. Patricia calls me 3 days before her party. She wants to know what I'm planning, what the theme is, who's coming. For the first time since I've known her, she sounds almost excited to talk to me. It's going to be a surprise, I tell her mysteriously. But trust me, you're going to love it. You've really put thought into this, haven't you? She says, and I detect something new in her voice. Not quite respect, but close. Maybe acknowledgement that I'm capable of more than she gave me credit for. I put a lot of thought into it, I confirm. This party is going to be very memorable. After we hang up, I sit back and smile. Patricia has no idea how memorable this party is going to be. The gift I've ordered arrived yesterday. It's sitting in my closet, wrapped in the most beautiful paper money can buy. Heavy, expensive wrapping paper with a satin ribbon. The kind of presentation that screams thoughtfulness and care. Inside that beautiful wrapping is something Patricia will never forget. Something that will teach her exactly what it feels like to be publicly humiliated by someone who's supposed to care about you. The morning of Patricia's party, Daniel is nervous energy personified. He keeps checking his watch, adjusting his tie, asking if I need help with anything. I'm calm, centered, focused. Everything is ready. The country club is decorated beautifully. The caterer has prepared Patricia's favorite foods. The cake is a masterpiece, 3 tiers of elegant white buttercream with delicate sugar flowers. The gift sits in my car, wrapped in that beautiful paper. Waiting. We arrive early to oversee final preparations. Patricia arrives exactly on time, dressed in an expensive designer dress, her hair and makeup perfect. She surveys the room and I can see the approval on her face. She's impressed. Well, Maya, she says, her tone warmer than I've ever heard it. You've outdone yourself. This is lovely. Thank you, Patricia, I say graciously. Only the best for family. Guests begin to arrive. The room fills with chatter and laughter. Everyone compliments the decorations, the food, the atmosphere. Patricia is glowing, holding court like the queen she believes herself to be. Daniel squeezes my hand, grateful and proud. We eat, we drink, we socialize. Angela arrives fashionably late, hugging Patricia like they're long-lost sisters. She's polite to me, which I appreciate. Whatever happened between her and Daniel is ancient history. I'm not the type to hold grudges against the wrong people. The cake is cut. Patricia makes a speech about gratitude and family and getting older gracefully. Everyone applauds. Then it's time for gifts. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Guests present their offerings one by one. Book club friends bring wine and gift cards. Tennis partners contribute a new racket and designer athletic wear. Margaret gives her sister an expensive scarf. Each gift is opened with appropriate enthusiasm and thanks. Then Daniel stands up, holding the gift from both of us. The gift I wrapped. The gift I've been planning for a month. Mom, he says warmly, Maya and I wanted to get you something special. Something that really represents how much you mean to us. He hands her the beautifully wrapped box. Patricia's eyes light up at the presentation. This wrapping alone probably cost more than that drugstore candle. Patricia takes her time with the wrapping, clearly savoring the moment. She comments on how beautiful the paper is, how elegant the ribbon. She's playing to her audience, these women she's spent years trying to impress. Finally, she opens the box. Inside, nestled in tissue paper, is a framed photograph. It takes her a moment to process what she's seeing. The room falls silent as Patricia stares at the image. It's a photo of the $5 candle she gave me, still wrapped in newspaper, sitting on my gift table surrounded by expensive, thoughtful presents from other guests. But that's not all. Mounted next to the photo is the actual candle, preserved in a shadow box frame. And below both, engraved on a small brass plaque, are the words, "To Patricia, who taught me that the value of a gift reflects the value of the relationship. With love and gratitude, Maya and Daniel." The silence in the room is deafening. Patricia's face cycles through confusion, realization, and then pure rage. Her cheeks flush red. Her hands tremble slightly as she holds the frame. Daniel is frozen beside me, his mouth slightly open in shock. What is this? Patricia's voice is quiet, dangerous. The kind of quiet that comes before a storm. I maintain my innocent expression, my voice sweet and confused. It's a memory of my birthday, I explained to the room. I was so touched by your thoughtfulness, Patricia, that I wanted to preserve it forever. After all, it's not every day that your mother-in-law personally selects a gift that perfectly captures her feelings. Guests shift uncomfortably. They're not stupid. They can see the candle, read the plaque, understand the message. Angela, to her credit, looks horrified. Not at me, but at Patricia. Margaret, Patricia's sister, is staring at her with something like disappointment. Daniel finally finds his voice. Maya, what is this? What are you doing? I turn to my husband, my expression genuinely confused. I'm giving your mother a gift, just like she gave me one. I thought it was beautiful how she wrapped my present in newspaper. So personal, so unique. I wanted to honor that gesture. Patricia stands abruptly, the frame clattering to the floor. You vindictive little thing, she hisses. How dare you embarrass me like this in front of my friends? The room erupts. Half the guests are whispering frantically to each other. The other half are staring at Patricia and me like we're a car crash they can't look away from. I remain seated, calm, my hands folded in my lap like a schoolgirl. Embarrass you? I ask innocently. Patricia, I'm simply celebrating your gift-giving style. Isn't that what this party is about? Celebrating you? Angela stands up, her voice cutting through the chaos. Patricia, she says quietly, is this true? Did you give Maya a drugstore candle wrapped in newspaper for her birthday? Patricia whirls on her, defensive and cornered. That's not the point, Angela. The point is that this girl, she spits the word like poison, has deliberately humiliated me at my own birthday party. Margaret speaks up now, her voice cold and hard. Pat, we talked about this. I told you that pettiness toward Daniel's new wife would backfire. But a $5 candle? Really? You're still bitter about the divorce? I'm not bitter, Patricia shouts, losing all composure now. I just don't think she deserves Daniel. She's nothing like Angela. She doesn't come from the right family. She doesn't understand our world. And there it is. The truth that's been lurking beneath every backhanded compliment, every comparison to Angela, every rearranged kitchen cabinet. Patricia never accepted me because of where I come from. My family isn't wealthy. My father is a mechanic. My mother is a school teacher. I worked my way through college on scholarships and student loans. I don't have the pedigree Patricia wanted for her son. Daniel's face has gone pale. Mom, what are you saying? Patricia seems to realize she's gone too far, but she can't stop now. The dam has broken. I'm saying that girl trapped you. She saw an opportunity and she took it. You could have reconciled with Angela. You could have had the life you were meant to have. But instead, you settled for someone who wraps insults in expensive paper and calls it a gift. The irony of that last statement is clearly lost on Patricia. But it's not lost on the guests. Margaret stands up, gathering her purse. I think I've seen enough, she says quietly. Pat, you need to take a hard look at yourself. What you did to that girl was cruel. What she did today was just holding up a mirror. One by one, guests begin to leave. Not angrily, but awkwardly, like they've witnessed something they wish they hadn't. Patricia's book club friends whisper sympathetically to me on their way out. The tennis partners avoid Patricia's gaze. Even the church committee women look disappointed. Angela approaches me before she leaves. She speaks softly, so only I can hear. I'm sorry, she says sincerely. I knew Patricia was struggling with Daniel remarrying, but I had no idea she was treating you like this. For what it's worth, that candle thing was cruel. You handled this better than I would have. Thank you, I say, meaning it. Angela nods and leaves. Soon, only Daniel, Patricia, and I remain in the beautiful room I spent weeks planning. The untouched cake sits on the table, a monument to a party that died before dessert. Daniel is staring at his mother like he's never seen her before. You gave my wife a $5 candle for her birthday? His voice is quiet, hurt, confused. The expensive bracelet we gave you, the dinners we've paid for, the help we've given you, and you gave her a drugstore candle and newspaper? Patricia tries to regain control, but she's lost her audience. She's lost her son. Daniel, you don't understand, she begins. No, Mom, I do understand, he interrupts. I've been making excuses for you for 2 years. Every time you criticized Maya's cooking, I told myself you were just particular. Every time you compared her to Angela, I convinced myself you were processing the divorce. Every time you rearranged our house like Maya didn't know how to organize her own home, I said you were trying to help. But this? He points to the framed candle lying on the floor. This wasn't thoughtlessness. This was deliberate cruelty. And Maya, he turns to me now, his eyes filled with an emotion I can't quite read. You knew, didn't you? You planned this entire party as payback. I don't deny it. I meet his gaze steadily. I did, I confirm. And I'd do it again. Your mother has spent 2 years making me feel small, unwanted, and inferior. She did it privately, where you couldn't see. But at my birthday party, she did it publicly. She wanted to humiliate me in front of our friends and family. So yes, I returned the favor. The silence that follows is heavy with unspoken words. Finally, Patricia speaks, her voice brittle. So this is who you really are. Vindictive. Cruel. I was right about you all along. No. I say, standing up for the first time. This is who you made me. I came into this family with an open heart. I tried to build a relationship with you. I overlooked your comments, your criticisms, your constant reminders that I'm not good enough. I'd bitten my tongue for 2 years while you've treated me like an intruder in your son's life. I paused, letting my words sink in. But when you handed me that candle, wrapped in newspaper, in front of everyone we know, you crossed a line. You didn't just disrespect me. You disrespected your son, our marriage, and the effort I've made to be part of this family. Patricia's eyes fill with tears, but they're angry tears, not remorseful ones. You've turned my son against me, she accuses. No, Daniel says firmly. You did that yourself. Mom, I love you. But I can't excuse this anymore. You need to apologize to Maya. Not because she embarrassed you today, but because you've been emotionally abusing my wife for 2 years. Apologize? Patricia's voice is sharp with disbelief. To her? Daniel, she just humiliated me in front of everyone I know. After everything I gave up for you, after raising you alone when your father died, this is how you repay me? And there it is again. Patricia's favorite weapon. Guilt. She's wielded it against Daniel his entire life, and I've watched him crumble under its weight more times than I can count. But something has shifted in Daniel today. Something has finally broken through his conditioned response to his mother's manipulation. You raised me to be a good man, he says quietly. You taught me about respect, about treating people with kindness, about standing up for what's right. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm standing up for my wife. The woman I chose to spend my life with. The woman who deserves better than what you've given her. Patricia stares at her son like he's a stranger. Then she turns to me, and for just a moment, I see something raw and painful in her eyes. Not apology, but loss. The realization that she's pushed too far and lost something she can't get back. Fine, Patricia says, her voice cold and distant. If that's how you both feel, then I'll leave you to your perfect little life. She gathers her purse and coat, moving with rigid dignity. But don't come crying to me when this falls apart. When she shows her true colors and you realize what you've given up. She walks to the door, then pauses. You know what the saddest part is, Daniel? I was protecting you. I saw through her from the beginning. But you were too blinded by, she hesitates, searching for the word, whatever this is to see the truth. The door closes behind her with a soft click that sounds like a gunshot in the quiet room. Daniel and I stand in silence, surrounded by the ruins of a party that was supposed to bring us together. I'm sorry, I finally say. I know she's your mother. I know you love her. Daniel shakes his head. Don't apologize. You have nothing to be sorry for. He sits down heavily in one of the chairs. I do, though. I should have seen it. I should have protected you from her. Why didn't you tell me how bad it was? I sit beside him, taking his hand. Because she's your mother, I say simply. Because I knew you'd be caught in the middle. Because I kept hoping things would get better, that she'd eventually accept me. And because, honestly, I didn't realize how much I'd been tolerating until that candle. It was like 2 years of small cuts finally drew blood. Daniel squeezes my hand. The candle was unforgivable. But this, he gestures around the empty room, was this the right way to handle it? I think about his question. Was public humiliation the right response to public humiliation? Was fighting fire with fire the answer? I don't know, I admit. Maybe not. Maybe I should have just confronted her privately, talked it out like adults. But I'm tired, Daniel. I'm tired of being the bigger person. I'm tired of swallowing my anger and pretending everything is fine. Today, I wanted her to feel what she made me feel. Just once. Daniel nods slowly, processing. And now? Now we figure out what comes next, I say. You and me. Together. Whatever that looks like. 3 days pass before Patricia calls. Daniel answers, and I can hear her voice through the phone, high-pitched and emotional. Whatever she's saying, Daniel's responses are short, measured. I see, he says. I understand. No, Mom, I don't think that's fair. After 10 minutes, he hangs up. She wants to meet, he tells me. Just the 3 of us. She says she wants to clear the air. Do you want to? I ask. He considers this. I think we need to. But Maya, I need you to know that whatever happens, whatever she says, I'm on your side. You're my wife. You're my family. She needs to understand that. We meet Patricia at a quiet restaurant the following evening. She's already there when we arrive, sitting in a corner booth, looking smaller somehow. Less formidable. The makeup doesn't quite hide the dark circles under her eyes. Thank you for coming, she says as we sit down. Her voice is subdued, lacking its usual commanding tone. I wasn't sure you would. We order drinks, make small talk about nothing important. The tension is thick enough to cut. Finally, Patricia sets down her water glass and looks at me directly. I've been thinking about what happened at the party, Patricia begins. About what you said, what Daniel said, what everyone saw. I take a breath, trying to figure out how to say this. She pauses, and I can see her struggling with words that don't come naturally to her. I was wrong. The candle was wrong. The way I've treated you for the past 2 years was wrong. I wait, saying nothing. This is her moment. She needs to do this without my help. When Daniel divorced Angela, Patricia continues, I took it hard. Too hard, maybe. Angela and I had a relationship independent of her marriage to my son. When they split, I felt like I lost a daughter. Then you came along, and I resented you for taking her place. I know that's not fair. You didn't do anything wrong. You just existed. Daniel reaches for my hand under the table. I appreciate you saying that, I say carefully. But why the cruelty? If you were just grieving your relationship with Angela, why go out of your way to make me feel unwelcome? Patricia's face tightens. Because it was easier to blame you than to deal with my own feelings. Easier to make you the villain in my story than to accept that Daniel had moved on and I needed to as well. The candle, Patricia continues, her voice dropping, was my line in the sand. I'd convinced myself that if I pushed hard enough, you'd leave. That Daniel would see you weren't strong enough for this family. That maybe he and Angela could find their way back to each other. She laughs bitterly. Ridiculous, I know. Angela has been remarried for a year. I was living in a fantasy. But that party, seeing my friends look at me like I was a monster, hearing Margaret tell me I'd become everything I'd ever criticized in other people, that broke through my delusion. Daniel speaks for the first time. Mom, I love you. But you hurt Maya. Deeply. Repeatedly. And you did it deliberately. I can't just forgive that because you're my mother. I know, Patricia says quietly. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Not yet. I'm just asking for a chance to do better. To be better. If you'll give me that chance. I look at this woman who has made my life miserable for 2 years. Who handed me a $5 candle like it was trash. Who made me feel small and worthless and unwelcome. And I see something I haven't seen before. Vulnerability. Real, genuine vulnerability. Not manipulation or guilt-tripping, but actual remorse. It doesn't erase what she did. It doesn't heal 2 years of wounds overnight. But it's a start. I don't trust you, I say honestly. And I don't know if I ever will completely. But I'm willing to try if you're willing to actually change. Not just say you'll change, but do the work. Patricia nods. That's more than I deserve. Thank you. We talk for another hour, setting boundaries, establishing expectations, clearing the air about specific incidents that have festered for too long. It's not comfortable. Several times, Patricia gets defensive, and I have to remind her that this is part of the work. By the end, we haven't fixed everything. We haven't erased the past. But we've opened a door that was previously bolted shut. As we leave the restaurant, Patricia stops me. Maya, she says, that framed candle, it was brilliant. Cruel, but brilliant. I should have expected that level of strategic thinking from someone who managed to capture my son's heart. It's the closest thing to a compliment I've ever received from her. 6 months later, Daniel and I host Thanksgiving dinner. Patricia arrives with a carefully selected gift, a beautiful cookbook I'd mentioned wanting. The price tag is removed, but I can tell it wasn't cheap. More importantly, I can tell she put thought into it. Progress is slow. Some days are better than others. Patricia still occasionally makes comments that sting, but now Daniel calls her on it immediately. She's learning, grudgingly, that her daughter-in-law isn't going anywhere. The framed candle sits in my office at home. Daniel wanted to throw it away, but I kept it. Not as a weapon, but as a reminder. A reminder that I'm strong enough to stand up for myself. That I don't have to accept mistreatment, even from family. That sometimes, the kindest thing you can do is hold up a mirror and force someone to see their own cruelty reflected back. Rachel still thinks I went too far. Maybe I did. But when I look at the life Daniel and I are building together, with a mother-in-law who is finally learning respect, I can't bring myself to regret it. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. Sometimes you have to wrap the truth in beautiful paper and hand it to someone at their own party. And sometimes, just sometimes, that's exactly what they need to finally understand. My mother-in-law brought me a cheap gift wrapped in newspaper. So I wrapped her present in the truth. And it changed everything.